Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new video. This is Hub Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. Now, in this video, we're actually looking at data representation, and specifically, we are looking at the pie chart. Looking at the pie chart. Now, if we talk of a pie chart, I do hope you have heard of this name before. A pie chart is a circular graph divided into slices, right, to represent proportions of a whole. What do I mean by that? If you see anything like this, then you can say it's a pie chart. It is a circle with various portions representing what? A particular kind of data. You see, you can have this section here representing boys who engage in football, girls who do not, boys who engage in other sports and all that. So basically, this is how a pie chart looks like. In this video, we are going to look at how we can draw pie charts and then also solve some examples. Now, if you want to draw a pie chart, you would have to look forward all the portions of the data and represent them with this over here. We call this, we call it a sector. So you look for each sector that represents what? The portion of the data you are talking about. Now, how do we calculate these sectors? Okay, so to draw a pie chart, these are the steps we need to follow. First of all, you need to collect the data. The data you are going to use to draw your pie chart, you collect them. After which, you calculate your angles. Now, this is one of the most important parts. We calculate our angles. We'll be doing that with a question over here, so I do hope we will be able to relate. So you calculate your angles. If you get all the angles, then you now draw your pie chart, and then you can interpret your pie chart. So with these steps, let's look at how we can apply them to answer this question. So a class survey shows favorite subject. That is math, science, English, history, and yeah. And we have to draw a pie chart and label each subject. So we have to draw a pie chart and then label each subject. All right. So how do we go about it? The first thing you need to do is to get the total of all these. You see? So the sum of all of these ones, we'll just call that the sum of the values. So it's a sum of the values, which is equal to 15 for the maths, 10 for science, 5 for English, and then 20 for history. So all of this gives us what? 50. Now we write this 50 down. This 50 is what is going to help us get all the sectors we want, right? The 50 here is going to help us get all the sectors we want. So let's first of all start solving for the sector for mathematics. But before that, how do we even solve for each sector? So you say the sector is equal to the category value. Category value here, we mean the value for mass all over the sum of values. What we have gotten here, the 50. Then we multiply it by 360. So once again, a sector is what? The category value all over the sum of the values times 360. So if we want the mass sector sector is going to be what? That category, its value is 15, you see. So 15 all over the sum of the values, which is 50. Then we multiply that by 360, right? And if we evaluate this, we are going to get 108, you see. So we do this for all the categories. This is just for maths. So let's look at that of English as well. So this time around, English sector is going to be the value we have on English, you see, and that is 5. So 5 all over the sum total of all the values, and we solve that to be 50. So all over 50, then times 360 degrees, you see. And if we evaluate this, that gives us a 36 degree, right? Then we now go to the next one as well. This next one is history. So history sector is going to be 20 over the 50 times 360, all right? And that gives us a 144 degrees. I think we left out the science. Science was 10. So let's quickly do that for science as well. So the sector for science is going to be a 10 over 50, then times our 360 degrees, right? If we evaluate that, we are going to get a 72. So 72 degrees, right? So with this now, we've been able to calculate the sectors for all the categories, that of maths, that of English, history, and then science as well. Now, if I'm to just give a summary of all that we have done over here in a table form, this is how it is going to look like. So this is all that we have done so far. We've looked at the subject, the number of students who like it, and then the sectors, all that represents. So now that we have our information, we want to do what? Get our pie chart. You see, this is all we need to be able to draw a pie chart. That it is important that at the end of all this, if you add these angles, you should get 360. If you don't get 360, then you should suspect that there is an error somewhere. Now, to draw our pie chart, the first thing we need to do is to get our circle. So this here is going to be my circle, right? It should be big enough so that you see all that you are going to what? Label. And then I'll draw my circle. So this is my nice circle as well over here. And then I will now draw the radius. You see? So I'll just draw the radius of my circle. Starting at 0, I've gotten my radius, and that is it. Now I can take off my compass. Then we now start measuring our sectors. So I'll take my protractor, and with my protractor, I make sure I align the protractor. So align it such that the 0 is at the center of my circle. And what angle do I need? I need 108. I need 108. And per my protractor, here's where I have my 90. So I'm starting the 0 anti-clockwise. That is the outer calibration. So I have my 0 around here. That is supposed to show, but because it's too big, that's why it's not. But then 0 is on the line. And it goes all the way to give me 20, 10, 40, and then I have my 90 here. Maybe there's 108 that I need. 100 is around here. 11 is around here. This side is certainly 105. So 108 would also be 105, 6, 7, then 8 will be around here. So this will be my 108. I take note of that. So that here will be for my mass. Then I now continue with the sines. The sines is what? 72 degrees. So you can choose to take off your protractor, but you make sure that your next measurement, the base of your protractor is on this line over here. You see? So this is where the base of my protractor is supposed to be. And I want to measure a 7, that is 72. So once again, I know I have my 0 here and I have my 90 here as well. What I want to measure is 72. So this is 70. 70 is around this spot. Hence, my 72 is going to be just 2 points away. This over here. So I just end that over here nicely. This here is my 72. The next one we have to measure is what? 36. So once again, you make sure the base of your protractor is on the next radius you have drawn. And what do you want? You want 36. So this is my 30 over here. And I know 36 is going to be around this side. So I just bring it down to end on the circumference. Then the last one is 144. 144. So you could even see that the remaining is exactly 144. Because if I'm to start from the 0 over here, that is using the inner calibration, I have my 20 all the way 90, 100, and 130, 140. 144 is right on this mark. So if you make sure, or if you are able to draw it exactly on its point, you realize that the rest will just fall in line. So let's do our labeling now. We have our marks over here. So I'm just going to put the 108 degree here. That is for the marks. And then that of the sines was 10 degrees. So 10 degrees also here. No, that is 72, sorry. So 72 degrees also over here. And that represents sines. And then I have my 36 degrees also over here. And that represents English. And then the last one, which is 144 degrees, will be here. And that will represent what? History. So that is all. We've been able to represent our information or our data on a pie chart. With this, you realize that pie chart isn't that difficult to do. Just make sure your calculations are always right and you'll be good to go. So because of time, I'll just write out some questions you can try on your own to test your understanding. So here are some questions you can always try your hands on. They are just three, right? If there's anything, you can just go back, take your time and look at the procedure we used to get these sectors, right? All that we did. And then I do hope you'll be able to answer these questions. These are very basic questions relating to pie chart. I do hope you do understand us at this point. If there's anything, you can let me know at the comment section. This is Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. Stay blessed. Stay tuned as well. And in our next video, look at another method of representing data. Bye.